absolute favorite things. I have a lot of favorite things in energy medicine, but this is one of my favorites because you can use this for pretty much anything. And what I have used it for, I've used it for going into surgery. I've used it for a torn meniscus when I was in great pain and I wanted to avoid surgery. I've used it for the loss of a loved one. I've used it for my husband's job losses. I have used it for pretty much everything. I even used it for a crazy, scary, it wasn't a roller coaster, but it was like the Fear Factor was the name of the ride, and it really threw my body and my system off. I even used it there on the ride. I managed to get my hand where I needed to go. My name is Kelly Goetz. I am an Eden's Energy Medicine clinical practitioner, and I'm on a mission to get this work out as far as I can across the world to help other people. So if you can share this and subscribe if it's something that you like, but share it to somebody that you know is struggling with fear, I would greatly appreciate it. All right, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to work with the Oh My God points, which are right here between the eyebrow and the forehead. And we're going to place our hand right there. My body, like when I get my hands on my head, my body's like, oh yeah, I'm there with you. Then you're going to bring your other hand to the back, the small of your head, right back here, as if you were cradling a baby's head. Only you're the baby's head. And you're going to hold this. Now what I often do is I just simply get my pillows propped up and I hold my head in this fashion. And what usually happens is it calms my body down, it brings blood flow back to my brain, I stop having all those scary thoughts, and I start relaxing. And oftentimes I will fall asleep and I might wake up later in the night with my hands in this position. The other thing that you can do if you've got a tremendous amount of fear going on in your world is you can speak out loud what the fear is about. And you want to say everything that comes to your mind as you're holding your head. Or if it's with a loved one, you can hold their head and let them speak their fear out loud. What this will do is it'll move the fear through the meridian system and out of the body. It'll actually help you process the emotion versus having it getting stuck anywhere in your body. So it's great to do for kids, for your loved ones. Anyone can benefit from this. In fact, I would teach them how to do this. The other thing that you want to do is once you've processed all the fear, now we got to bring in courage. And I want you to think about courageous things that you can be doing. What step can you take that accesses the emotion of courage? And in what ways have you already been stepping into courage? And you want to bring those memories and situations in. I can't say enough about the neurovasculars on your head. What you can also do is after you've done with fear, so let's say you're here, I want you to think about, well, where might I want this hand to travel? So always keep your hand on your forehead and then just move your head around, because we actually have several other points on our head that when you hold your hand there, it's going to bring energy to that meridian and the organ it feeds. And just a fun little story, I was on a ride at the county fair many years ago. I had brought my son to Disney World when he was 4, and we got on a ride that was way too real and way too scary for him. It was around dinosaurs. It really ruined the trip for us because it was in 2007, he was little, and I had no idea that this dinosaur ride was going to be as scary as it was, but it was. And I think on some level I've caused a little bit of trauma there around this ride. And so my son, he's now 17, and as he's gotten older, he's taking more risk and going on bigger rides. And he's led us through Universal Studios and taking the rides. But we had a summer where we were at the county fair, we were on this Fear Factor. And what it was is it takes you up in the air, and at first it's all nice and wonderful and rosy. And then all of a sudden it starts spinning really fast and upside down. And I found myself with my son gripping the harness so tight. And I could tell that the blood was leaving my brain, going into my arms, my legs, my heart, and trying to figure out how to get out of this. And I also looked at my son, who was turning white. And the reason I was on the ride was I wanted to support him. So what we did is I managed with all my courage to get my hand off that harness and bring it up onto my forehead, and all I could get my hand to do was this. And I yelled across to the other side. I said, Landon, please put your hand on your head. And he got his hand on his head, and we both gripped this wonderful harness. And as we were doing so, because we had our hand on the head, it started to bring the blood flow back to our brain. And I came to a place where I actually could enjoy the ride, and enjoy the ride we did. But mostly what I enjoyed was seeing my son using a tool that could calm his nervous system down. And so if it can work on the fear factor, it can work for everything that we're facing right now. It can work when we're dealing with all of the stress in our own cities and all of the different traumas that everybody has been going through. We are all one, we are all connected, and I just want to say thank you for listening. I'm glad you're here. Please send this out to somebody that it can help, because I know a lot of people are dealing with fear right now. If you like this video and you want to learn more, please subscribe, and I look forward to sharing more about ways that you can self-care with energy medicine and all the other tools that I've harnessed over